Hello, hello. I would kindly ask you to be quiet because the plenaries are starting from now on. We are 8 minutes late, 9 minutes already, so we have to be a little bit faster than we have to be. So welcome to the NA Palkovice 2021, and I would kindly ask our president, Adela Smykolová, for the opening address. We can take one of the microphones there. Máš ho vytlej furt. Jednou zmáčkni.
Už to funguje. Okay, now I don't know where to stand so that all of you can see. Can you all see well? Yes? Beautiful. Okay, so good afternoon, people of Palkovice. Welcome to the National Assembly. I was told at this time I have 15 minutes, so I can spend a bit more time speaking. I believe this is going to be a very unique event for all of us because it's been 2 years, 2 long years since we met for a big National Assembly. It's my pleasure to welcome you here also on behalf of the National Board. We really do hope that you will enjoy this event and that you will spend some wonderful moments here. But before I get to the event itself, let's start with the not so pleasant things. Obviously, I would just like to remind you and kindly ask you to respect the regulations because we've already received multiple messages and quite a few people are not coming to this event because of some illness. There are even people who are positive already, not here obviously, but those people couldn't come because of COVID. So let's just do our best to keep each other safe and healthy for the whole event, because obviously this is something that could obviously make our lives more complicated, not only for ESNs but also for international students, because when we get home, obviously we need to take care of them as well. So please keep this in mind and try to wear the respirators, even though we know it's really difficult, but let's do this just with the goal of protecting each other, okay? It's not that we want to forbid something or we want to ruin the party. It's really about staying safe and healthy. So that is about the regulations. And then thank you very much to our wonderful OC for hosting us, for preparing everything, because they have spent some long months preparing this event. They have done a wonderful job so far. So I do hope that you will also enjoy this event. Don't forget to take some siesta, just like everybody else. It's an important part of the National Assembly. And also thank you very much to our partners who have supported this event, not only financially, but also from other points of view. Obviously without them, for example, without the National Agency or Vodafone, we would not be able to meet here. So thanks a lot to the partners as well. And thanks a lot to all of you for coming, for taking some days off and for making time to come here to the end of the world, basically, and spend some time with the ESNS. During this event, we will not have that many votings because not sure if you know, but there are 2 big national assemblies during a year, and this one will be more about networking. So there are some workshops, sessions, and meet your colleagues meetings already this afternoon. So not that much voting, not that many presentations. But this NA is here to provide us to learn and to share with each other the best or the worst practices. Not sure what's happening to this. Okay. All right. So what else I wanted to say this afternoon? We will also have some presentations from ESN International and also from our new partner, Amnesty International. As if there were not enough international words already. So I do hope that you will also enjoy these presentations, that you will enjoy all the workshops and sessions. And if there is anything you would like to change or you don't like in particular during the event, don't be afraid to come to us, tell us, and we will do our best to make it okay for everyone. And now before I open the assembly, I believe it's somebody's birthday today. So it's a very special day also for Kaya, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes? Yes? Or did I get it wrong? It's your birthday, right? Wonderful. So before we open the assembly, do you think we could sing for Kaya? Yeah? Okay. Let's do this. I'm not gonna sing in the mic, okay? But let's sing. But can you please start?
In Czech or English? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kaya. Happy birthday to you.
Wonderful. So, guys, welcome once again. Thank you very much for coming. And don't forget to take some notes to take the best out of this event. And let's enjoy it all together. And by this, I would like to know, it's a bit more complicated. But I promised the OC I will also use the vařečka for opening. It's getting complicated. Okay. So here with the hammer that we've had for almost 15 years already, I officially open National Assembly Palkovice 2021.
So I would like to ask Martin from OC or someone else from the OC to present the prepared slides. You can take one of the wireless microphones there. And note for all future presenters, I think it's better for the sound if you stay behind the reproductor, the repro box, to lessen the buzzbuzz. No.
Yeah. Hello, welcome at the end of the world. I know some of you got messages like welcome to Poland. We are actually quite far from the borders, but anyway, welcome. Welcome in Moravia. We tried our best to welcome you in Silesia, but it's really hard to get a venue for this many people in Silesia. We are 3 kilometers from there, so almost. We are in Frýdek-Místek district, and we are in beautiful Beskydy mountains. As Adel mentioned, I would like to ask you to follow the restrictions. It would be awesome if you could cover also your nose, because yay, that's when the respirators actually work. By the regulations, the mandatory respirators are FFP2 or KN95 with at least 94% of protection. And the exception of not wearing the respirators is during the consumption of drinks and food. I would also like to ask you to keep the social distance and yeah. Please share only appropriate content on your social media, please. Yeah. Okay. The venue. I hope you have find your room. If not, you haven't filled in the form. So find some space that you like and sleep there. I hope that you like your rooms. And some basic orientation around the venue. Now we are in the room Ostrava. Here we have a pub slash bar slash room named Stodolní. From Stodolní to the right and up there is a room named Karvina. In the third floor there is a small classroom named Bruntal, and on the second floor on the most right there is a playroom Havířov and playroom Orlova. There are signs to navigate you around. Yeah, and few words from OC. Respect each other, respect the code of conduct, respect the EPP, be kind to each other, follow the restrictions, and if anything, please ask us. some announcements. If you would like to have anything or just any need, ask us. And very important things now, please listen. It will consider coffee, so I think it's very important for most of you. The coffee machine is on your left. It's available 24/7. If there is any issue with the machine, just contact the OC. And a pro tip how to make it 2 times faster. There are actually 2 nozzles out of the coffee machine. So you can put 2 mugs there and get a double coffee. It saves 50% of the time, which is really much. So please do that. There will be somebody to help you to make your coffee. And very important thing regarding the food. If you have any restrictions, please tell it to the people serving the food. And now I would like the rest of my orange team to join me here for some moments. And be fast, please, because we are running out of the time. Zaslaďaš dáme. Okay, so we will try our best to be as visible as possible. We are trying. So we have Kačka, we have Radek, we have Filip, we have Dan, we have Zdenda, we have Mirek, we have Magda, we have Miška, and I am named Martin. Maybe you know me. Yeah, so if anything, just ask us. If we are not in orange t-shirts, we are wearing orange buttons to help you with navigation. And there is Radek. He will be taking photos of you. And now I would like to remind you one thing. Remember, Babushka is not here, but the OC is. Enjoy.
So it's my turn to speak again. Stop it, please. I have the duty to inform you about the rules of the game, because every meeting like this is official meeting, and we have to follow the rules exactly to the point in order to make it more accommodating for everyone. I hope you can hear me well in the back. Can you hear me well? Fine, great. So we have to start by your rights at the National Assembly. Legal representatives are the people who will be voting. They have been distributed voting devices in the form of vařečka. So everyone who will be voting this afternoon already has the vařečka, I hope. The agenda here that we are following can be adjusted if it's needed. Myself, the main chair, can adjust the agenda if there are no objections. Also, legal representatives and national board can propose the adjustment of agenda if seemed necessary. If someone proposes to vote the agenda is automatically adjusted unless there are opposing votes against that. If you want to propose voting that is not in the agenda, you can propose that, and if you are second by additional 2 members, that means legal representatives, then we will vote on the proposed voting. The very important part of the take it off in order to speak more, let's say, more clearly. Everyone who is here can join the debate, but it's not automatically. We can't shout over each other like in the kindergarten. We have some rules. If you are ever in doubt how to join the debate, there is the roll up, which is clearly showing the proper way. If you want to ask a question at the presenter, you raise your open hand. If you want to react, you raise two fingers. Reaction means someone said something and you want to react to that thing and not start a different topic. And if you have a procedural point, like someone messed up in the proper code of conduct or something, then you raise one finger. The way we assign the priority in the joining of the debate is that the point with fewer fingers has higher priority. So open hand has the lowest priority, procedural point has the highest priority. If you want to agree with someone in silence, then you can do what I call jazz hands. It means shaking both of your hands in front of you like this. You can be more dramatic about it, like. And if you want to request silence, you like this. And it's a good custom to be silent when you are requesting silence. So if you raised your hand, that means you want to speak. So we open the speakers list. If you raised your hand, we will hopefully notice you in time. So just look at us very. Sorry. I forgot to. I'm very sorry. I forgot to change the slide. I'm so sorry. Speakers list. Can you, Philip? Can you just watch me? Or it's gonna be best for me. Thank you. So, have you seen the previous slides? Just gonna show it for a while. Yeah. Look at this slide. It's very, very, very clearly written what I was talking about. So sorry for that. I'm gonna change it back. Yeah. So if the speakers is open, you have to raise your hand and try to establish eye contact with either me or the vice chair, which is Maria. And we will notice you, hopefully in time, and we will add you to the speakers list, and we will ask you for your word when time for your word comes. When you have been given the word, please say your name and section, and please talk shortly, simply, and slowly and clearly, because the acoustics here is not the best, and Maria also has to write down what you said in the minutes, so make the job for her easier, please. And if your point was already covered, just say covered. And also avoid argumentation fallacies, vulgar language, and other short list how the voting is conducted. Every section has only one vote. That makes perfect sense. And you will be voting with your raised voting devices up. Beforehand of every voting, there will be a quorum check, so can we see if the quorum of the particular votes can be reached or not. There will be 2 rounds of voting in total in this National Assembly. And every round will be containing just 2 votes. So it's only 4 votes. It's not going to be that hard. We're going to make it without any problems, I hope. And you can see the answers of every vote, except the quorum checks are going to be yes, no, and abstain. Yeah, I already said that. So let's get to the four votings that we will have. The one, of course, is the agenda approval. That's the mandatory one. We're gonna elect the electoral committee for the secret vote, and we're gonna adjust or change the statutes, which requires a 2/3 majority vote to pass. The important thing that everyone already talked about is how we as ESNers should behave on occasions like the NA is. It's a formal setting, so we have to abide both codes of conduct of both ESN International and ESN Czech Republic. And to quote from my point of view, the most important phrase from the whole document is, ESN is an environment which respects and welcomes everyone, and in which no form of bullying, harassment, violence, disrespectful or discriminatory behavior is tolerated. So remember this quote not only during the plenaries, but during the whole NA, during the social program, and all the time. It's very important to make here a friendly, respecting environment for everyone. And also a kind reminder, not everyone here is Czech or Czech speaking, so the main and official language of this NA is English, so please respect that. Right, Maria? Yeah. If you came to the conclusion that either the code of conduct is breached, then the official points of contact to report such mistreatment or misbehavior is the sharing team, 3 of us. In case there is some bad management of voting, you have to contact the electoral committee, and you can always contact the national board. Of course, they're here for you, as always. So now to the funny part. Meet your sharing team. That's us. That's us. So without further ado, can you please? This is me. Yeah, the main chair. This is my photo. These are my nicknames according to Maria because she made those slides. So I guess I'm the Slav Viking now. Yeah, this is the vice chair. She's gonna be the living typewriter or something like that. She's gonna write the minutes so fast we can't even see her. So thank her very much for doing this. And the IT guy, the most important in settings like this, which is streamed and also has some online inputs. The technical chair, Filip Marek. The Kapper, yes. He's also the carp, if you didn't know. Computer whisperer. Okay, next slide, please. Who else is here? Of course, we have the national board here. They are the best guys sitting in the front row. These are their pictures. I think you already know them because they are hard to miss, I guess. So thank you for being here, I guess. We also have some national supporters, which are like the right hand of the NB, if that's appropriate. So you can meet them here. And we have Martina Kadlecová from Audit Committee. I'm not sure if she's already here. She's hiding from me, yeah, so she is not to be seen, I guess. So welcome to the NA. Also, we have some international guests, which we haven't had in a while, and they are making us feel like the Mr. Worldwide. That's Maria's joke, by the way. It's not my fault. So I'd like to welcome the international guests, Alex Pojdevin, the event manager of ESN Switzerland, Georg Löffe, Secretary General of ESN Austria, and Julien Wachsmann, and I'm not going to read the long titles. Okay, next slide, please. Also, we have the section representatives of our 18 sections, and we are still missing 2 sections with their legal representatives, so 16 so far. And I would like to comment that neither me or Philip write down the arrangement, so it's pure coincidence our sections in the first place. Pure coincidence. Now for something completely different. We have the first quorum check. So, the quorum check number 1. Question: do you believe in horoscopes? The options are A, yes, B, no, and C, I don't care. So everyone have a small minute to think about their answers. And I'm going to open a document to come down the vote. So everyone who wishes to vote for the option number 1 or option A, yes, raise your voting devices now. Is someone hiding behind the pillar? Hopefully not. So please lower your voting devices. Everyone who wants to vote for the option B, no, raise your voting devices. That's not a voting device. Is it 4? And everyone who wants to vote for the last option, C, I don't care, raise your voting devices now. So the results are in that for the option yes, there are 3 votes. For the option no, there were 4 votes. And for the option I don't care, there were 9 votes, which in total gives us the expected number of 16. So the quorum has been reached. Thank you for participation. So we can get to the yes, take the
If I may, okay.
Yes.
We haven't even started yet, but I would like to propose the change in the agenda. I just had a call from Jas Kasil from ESN United Kingdom, who's going to present about the expansion of ESN, and there has been a change because he's going to present with the president of ESN United Kingdom, with Iona, and they are going to share a bit not only about the expansion but also about the mobility programs in the UK after the Brexit. So this is my proposal.
Okay. So we have not yet agreed on the agenda, so I guess what we should do is vote on the new agenda with this proposal. So what would be the correct phrasing of the... Do you approve the agenda as corrected by Adela Smejkolová of the NA Palkovice 2021? Is that fine? Okay, so the options again are yes, no, and abstain. So everyone who wants to vote for the option yes, please raise your voting devices now. Okay, everyone who wants to vote for the option B, no, raise your voting devices now. Okay, and everyone who wants to vote for the option C, abstain, please raise your voting devices now. So we can agree the quorum has been reached with 16 votes for the option yes, so the agenda is approved, and 0 votes for the option B and for the option C. So agenda is being approved as stated and later corrected by Adele. Next slide, please. Procedural, yes.
If it's possible, there is one section representative that is separated from the rest in the back. If it would be possible for this person who is over there to move a little bit closer, it would be great. Like maybe swap seats with somebody here with the blue shirt. I'm sorry if I may.
Or bring a chair.
Or bring a chair closer. Yeah. Yeah. So we keep it only on the 2 rows because I think we would miss them. Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the point. This is a good one. So we can get to the second vote of today and the last. And the question is, do you approve Jan Batista, that's me, and Filip Marek, that's him, as the members of Electoral Committee of NA Palkovice 2021. The third member of the Electoral Committee is by default the member of the Audit Committee. So we vote on just the two of us. So the options are A, yes, B, no, and C, abstain. So if everyone is ready, if you want to vote for the option A, yes, then raise your voting devices now. Thank you. If you want to vote for the option B, no, raise your voting devices now. Thank you. And if you want to vote for the option C, abstain, please raise your voting devices now. Thank you. So the quorum has been reached with 16 votes, and 16 votes were for the option yes. So we've been approved as the members of the Electoral Committee. Thank you very much. So please, Adele, if I could ask you for your presentation.
Wonderful. So where do I stand now? Okay, I'll stand right here. Okay, so the very first presentation, let's dive right into the international level, because this afternoon we'll have quite a few presentations about the international happenings. So now I would just like to share what's new in ESN International in general. What? No? You cannot hear? Well? Oh, okay. Where do I go? I can stand here as well. It's okay. If you can see me, not everyone can see me now, right? But you don't have to see me, it's fine. Okay, so now we have finished the regional platforms last weekend. As you know, the regional platforms are training events for ESNers from these regions, obviously. In total, we have 5 regions in ESN, and ESN Czech Republic, together with ESN Austria, for example, ESN Slovakia, ESN Hungary, is in CEP, Central European Platform. So unfortunately, our regional platform took place online this year, once again, because obviously the situation is still, let's say, the odds are not in our favor so far. But the other regional platforms in the south, SEEP and SWEP, they took place offline the week before ours. But why am I sharing this? Because the open call for the regional platforms has been reopened again. And that means that maybe if we have some motivated members who would like to bring CEP back to ESN Czech Republic, because the last one took place in Olomouc in 2018, there is still a chance to apply until the end of this month. And I can definitely say that this is a great opportunity, not only for us, but also for the members themselves, for all of you, because organizing this event is a very enriching experience. So if you have any questions regarding the regional platforms, please let me know. And now, about the General Assembly. It is approaching very quickly, and it will take place in Brussels during the last weekend of November. As you know, the General Assemblies, they take place twice a year, and these are statutory meetings of ESN International. So the representatives of all countries meet there and decide on the future of the network on the international level. At this GA, we will discuss topics such as the 6th board member, meaning the international board member, then change in the ESN year timeline, or also the future of the regional platforms, because you might have heard already there have been some discussions that the countries might swap a bit, and they might not be called CEPers anymore. Which is also related to the expansion of ESN, which we will talk about more later. Then we will also discuss topics related to professionalization of the national organizations and membership, not only on the international level, but also related to the national organizations, meaning ESN countries. And as you know, as every time we do that, we will have a section consultation meeting where we will discuss all the topics, and also where we will decide how we will vote on behalf of US and Czech Republic. That meeting is going to take place on the 17th of November, so that we have more time to discuss it with the sections, with the members. And I think it's public holiday, right? On that day. Wonderful. So we will start at 5. You can get ready. Okay, anybody can attend this meeting, definitely. If you would like to, again, know more, you can either approach your section representative, your president, or me directly. Then, not sure if you've seen it, these beautiful graphics. There is a whole new universe being opened again. And that means that the international committees are recruiting again until the end of this month. Do you know the names of all the committees we have? Wonderful. Can you please shout at least one name of the committee? Okay. Yes, and the last one. FICO, yes. Not sure if you've noted, but okay, so the green one obviously stands for COMCOM, for Communication Committee. If you want to know more about this, you can ask Mishka as the vice chair of COMCOM this year. Then ICE, International Committee for Education. You can ask me if you are interested in this topic. Then when it comes to ITCOM, Adam will be happy to help you. And regarding NEC, not sure if we have some members of NEC here right now. Doesn't really matter. We can still answer all your questions if you like to know more. You had a chance to attend the virtual expo last weekend. Not sure if you did. Anybody has attended it? Nice. Okay, so there are still some people who attended it. Wonderful. So the international committees, you can find more information either on Facebook or in your email. I will also forward it to you once again. And on the drive, you can then find all the open goals and the teams you can join. Now, beautiful. Okay, now our favorite topic, obviously. Yeah. Okay. So as you know, AGM 2020 has been cancelled. Then EGM 2021 has been cancelled, and we still have not been reimbursed. Let's say. There have been some issues. OC has been struggling with the bank because the bulk of the money has been frozen in the bank since, I don't know, it's been a few months already. And even though we ask for the updates quite often, it seems to be more complicated than we know or we can imagine. So unfortunately, I do not have any updates to share with you. But I've also, me and well, other countries as well, have approached the international board, and now Paula, the vice president, has promised to push a bit more to be able to give us some updates, actually. So once again, I would like to ask you for a bit more patience. We know that we've already asked for your patience like 20 times, but still, this is a very unfortunate situation. And let's just hope that it will all work out well for the OC and for us as well. So hopefully we might see the money before the applications or registrations for EGM next year. And then social impact days. You guys know social inclusion days, right? The ones we have every semester. Who knows social inclusion days? Beautiful. Okay, so now forget social inclusion days, because now they are called social impact days. And why is that? Because before, social inclusion days were mainly about the social inclusion cause. Now these days are supposed to cover all the causes of ESN. Then the main goals are that by the during this period of time, by the activities we organize for the students, we would like to highlight the impact that the international students have, not only on themselves, but also on our local community and society in general. So yeah, also these days are a great way to present and introduce our mission to society. So, as you know, the enrichment of society for international students, that is exactly what we do, not only during social impact days, because these are here just to start, let's say, something bigger. It doesn't mean that we only have to organize those activities during these days. No, these days are here because we also want to promote that better, and they are also a great communication tool, and also the partners are expecting us, let's say, to do something. But we can organize those activities throughout the whole year. But these days are special. These are like this, it's like a celebration of the causes of ESN. Then I would just like to remind you about activities. Do we all know activitiesesn.org? Yes? Okay. So now it is very important that we also upload the activities we organize, not only during those days, to the portal actually, because after that the social impact team would like to go through the reports and also do an analysis of the activities we organized, and then let's say create a new advocacy tool for all of us and also for the international students. And yeah, okay, now I would like to share some wiki tips. Not you visit a beautiful wiki, but there are many treasures, okay, many treasures that can be found there, and I would just like to highlight some of them here. So for example, did you know that you can find a recruitment booklet in Wiki? Yes. Have you read it? No? Okay. So now, especially after COVID, there are some wonderful tips how you can approach some potential members. So that's one of the things you can check. Then, obviously, we've been discussing the engagement of our members and how do we work with it, especially after COVID. So we also have some tools for that. Then, as we are now learning how to organize, or trying to remember how to organize physical events again, I'd just like to remind you also of the Sustainable Events Guide, as well as Healthy Events Guidelines, which can also be found on Wiki. And a few more. If you were, for example, struggling with transition in your local section, you can even find some manuals and packs, toolboxes for each position. For example, for treasurers, then also for communication managers or PRs, there are a lot of manuals. There are also many ComCom tips and tricks, how you can attract more people with the content you share on social media. And also, there are a lot of things related to team management and all the types of management in general. So all these things can be found on Wiki. I believe that you will spend some time on Wiki also tomorrow during the workshop, or on Sunday during the workshop. So that's all from me now. Thank you.
Before I open the speakers round, I would like to ask to be present during the presentations of the presenters. Do not sleep and don't be on your phone. I see someone almost sleeping right there, I think from the USB. Could you please not? And please wear a respirator. I see at least one person without covered face. We'll have to go through this together, or it's just gonna make the whole organization look bad. So thank you for cooperation, and I would like to open the speakers list now. If anyone has any question on Adele, please raise your hand according to the roll-up. Okay, I don't see any hand, so we can let you think for a while if you wanna come up with any question. I still see no hands, so I propose to close the speakers list. Are there any objections? There are no objections, so the speakers list is closed. Thank you, Adele, for your presentation. So now there's a presentation about the expansion of ESN. That's what? They are early? Too early for them. Is there any chance they will? No. It has to be on time. So. Je to 15:10. To stihneš? Tak jo. Okay, because we are too early. Hey, silent, and please don't leave the. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. Where are you going? Okay, sorry. From the power of the main chair, I can adjust the agenda if needed. So we'll have to do that now because the expansion of ESN is gonna be held in 15 minutes. So Adele volunteered to present the adjustment of the statutes of ESN. So if we can find those in the slides. It's not from today's slides. Are you able to find it in the presentation?
I don't have the tomorrow's presentation yet.
We don't have tomorrow's presentation yet, so we can't do that.
I have to download it.
Can you download it? So please be a little bit patient with us. What? Is that possible? What? Yeah. So probably that's the most reasonable thing to do right now. So please come here and give us your presentation. We adjust the agenda again. It's no worries. Please take one of the wireless microphones and just click it once until it starts shining green.
All right. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Georg. I am from EUS in Austria. I'm in the national board, and my position is Secretary General, which is what the national representative used to be, kind of. So we changed the name and changed the task description a little bit. So that's basically what I do. Before I start, I just want to thank you for inviting me, for having me, for the welcome you gave me. I'm really happy to be here. And it's an absolute pleasure. And also, thank you very much for talking English most of the time. I really appreciate that. So, EUS in Austria. It was founded quite some time ago, in 1992. And we have 15 sections, so kind of comparable to EUS in Czech Republic. And one candidate section, so we are really happy about that as well. We are present in all of those cities. We have 6 sections in Vienna. I will say a little bit more about this in a minute, and 2 in Graz. We have around 200 local members, probably more. Kind of hard to define who is an active member at the moment, right? But it should be even more than this. And so I want to start with one kind of weird thing that we have in Austria. So most of our sections are independent associations, which is the usual way to handle things, right? But some of them are actually part of the local student union at their university, which is kind of weird in international context, I guess, and it has some up and down sides that I just want to mention. So obviously the advantage of being an independent association is that you can basically do what you want or what's in your statutes, and you can change them, right? The student union sections have some restrictions because the student union has their own rules. So for example, right now, Some of those sections still can't organize any parties or something like this because the student union has a rule of not organizing parties because of the pandemic still. So that's why some sections couldn't do a welcome party, for example. They also usually don't have a budget because there's a bigger budget that they are just a part of. So what's actually the upside? Well, the advantage is that the student union has money because every student has to pay a fee for them. And so that's basically the cool part. They don't really need a budget because if they have some expenses, they can just go to the student union and usually they recover whatever they need. So moving on, we have 6 sections in Vienna. I'm not sure if that's the record for a number of sections in a city, but it is unusual in international context, definitely. Not so much for you maybe, because I think in Prague you have 5 sections if I'm correct. So yeah, we also have this approach of having sections per university and not per city, which is not the same everywhere. For example, in Zagreb, or I think I was in Paris, there's just one huge section that covers everything. And geography is not that important. But I just want to highlight why I think it makes sense in our case, because the situations are very different at the different universities that we have. For example, my section is very small. We have only around 15 incomings per semester, but then there is the main university in Vienna, and they have several hundreds. So if we just added our incomings to this huge group, it would be a totally different experience for them, and we can actually target them very well. So the upside is, in total, there are a lot of activities because we have 6 teams and everyone is doing something. So at the start of the semester, there's usually a welcome party every week. And we also try to coordinate the dates, of course. And to handle that, the cooperation in general, we have actually an own association that covers all of the sections in Vienna. And they have their own board, they have their own budget. And that's kind of how it works. So the members are the sections and the presidents still decide everything. But there is a board usually that handles the coordination between the sections. They have meetings, they coordinate, as I said, the dates for trips, for example, so there are no collisions. And there are also some events that ISN Vienna is doing as a whole. One really popular one that we had was the tram party, where we rented a tram and set up a bar inside, and there was a party while the tram was moving through Vienna. So that's a really cool event that we had as a whole, ISN Vienna. And so the problem is right now we have a problem with human resources. So the way I explain this is how it's supposed to work, not exactly how it's working right now, but I think in general it's a good approach to this. So moving on to national level, this on the left is our national board. We actually have 2 more positions. The partnership manager and the web project manager is vacant still at the moment. And we have some national coordinators that support the board. Education officer for educational institutions, for youth and European institutions. We have social inclusion coordinator and the vacant positions of event coordinator, health and well-being coordinator, and vice secretary general. Just a few words about the communication between national and local level, because I think it's very relevant for everyone. So we don't have local representatives or any board positions like this. It's basically the presidents being the main contact person for the national board. We have a president's community, which they have a Slack channel and they have regular calls. So that's mostly how the communication flows in both directions. And in general, in terms of communication, we use Slack a lot for everything. We have a national workspace where every member is supposed to be, at least every local board. We use email for important stuff, and we also have our wiki workspace, of course. Our national event, which we are really proud of, is called ISN Alps. It's a skiing trip for a skiing weekend, actually. It will happen soon, again, hopefully, finally, everything will work out. It's around 200 participants, and every section can participate in this, so they just appoint a local coordinator who's taking care of the transportation to the event, because it's different for every city, obviously. And the event itself is organized by an OC that's active on the national level. So another source of income apart from the national event are our partnerships. I just want to point out what we have. Stuvo is a student dorm provider, Educom is a phone provider, Unistarter, they sell some stuff that you need in a student dorm and they deliver it when you move in. And EdiBike is a startup in Vienna. They offer a bike subscription. So you pay a monthly fee, and then they provide you a bike, and if something happens, if it breaks down or it's stolen, you get a new one. So that's pretty convenient for incomings, actually. And yeah, I want to end with this picture of our beautiful volunteers. This was our last National Assembly in Graz this summer. And I'll be glad to answer any question about topics I mentioned or something completely different now if we have the time, or just approach me at any time. I'll be glad to share some more about this in Austria. Thank you very much.
So we have 5 minutes discussion time, so I'm opening the speakers list now if anyone wants to ask any questions. Please, Adele. Sure.
Yes, on CZ? Now you can hear. You here. We also hope you enjoy the weekend. I don't have a question, but I would like to encourage our members to take this opportunity. Use it today that we would have international guests at our events, and please do approach them and ask presentation.
If you have no reaction to what, do you want to comment on that? No, sure. Then please give me your, Maria. Maria wanted to ask a question, and I see another one there.
You have to unmute it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So my question is basically. When it comes to the membership and the communication language within ESN Austria, does it happen mostly in German? Like, how does it look like in your regular NAs, for example? And would you invite us to come?
Very good question. So yes, our communication language is English. At NAs, everything is in English. Also, our written communication on Slack and emails are always in English. So yeah, we have some members where German is not their first language, so it's really necessary in our case, and it's no problem at all. I think everyone sees it as an opportunity to learn English, and I think I'm really glad it's the same for you here, and I think some countries still have to learn about this, some ESN countries. And about our NA, so next NA is actually next weekend, and did send an invitation to the national board, and Lucas is actually joining us next weekend. And unfortunately, we couldn't have any more international guests because of our plenary. But in general, I'm really looking forward to welcoming more international guests in the upcoming NAs. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I saw a raised hand. Do you already have the microphone? If it's lights green, then it's like working. If it's red, it's muted. You have to put it closer to your mouth.
Okay, maybe mask. Yes, in Germany, I wanted to ask about the membership in the student union. That they don't have their own budget, but they're part of a bigger budget. So, are they not allowed to have their own money at all, or are they have their own money from their own activities like parties or trips or whatever, and can ask for more, or they only have what they get from the student union?
So they are usually, so we have the student union, it's quite a big thing in Austria, and there are local kind of like sections at every university, and they have different departments, and usually ESN is a part of the international department, obviously, and so there is not a budget just for them. So the whole student union section has a budget, I guess, but there is no specific account or anything that the ESN section has. And this is sometimes a problem because they can't actually have their own bank account, which can cause some troubles if you need to accept bank transfers or something. So that's one issue. And yeah, in general, they just have to coordinate with the rest of the student union team. And so the experience that I have is that usually they will have their expenses covered if they need money for something.
Okay, are there any more questions? If not, I would like to propose to close the speakers list so we can move in the agenda. Are there any objections to closing of the speakers list? Prosím vás, neřvěte nám tady do toho streamu. Děkuju. I hereby close the speakers list. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now can we move to the agenda of the expansion of ESN? So how will that work? Please be patient while we set up the online communication. It's not as easy when we are running streams and everything together. It's actually a little bit of technical mess. And hopefully the Wi-Fi here can support all of this. So we'll have to try that.
Okay, so before Philip actually prepares the environment, just like to introduce the following speakers, because like I said, we will have Jas. We already have him on the call. Jas is the ex-national representative of ESN UK, and he is also active on the international level as liaison officer for, let's say, for Mediterranean and South-Med, etc. As you know, it is a part of our vision for ESN to go global, and Jas is taking care of this part of the world. And then we will also have Iona, the national president of ESN United Kingdom, who will share also a bit about the touring scheme and how is it going in the UK after the Brexit. Okay? And we ready?
Please.
Edinburgh on the I said Steph, HR Vice President. On the right, we've got board support, so they're slightly different to our board. They don't have voting rights over certain things. We've got Mark, the partnership manager, who's kindly come back after a year of retirement from ESN UK, alongside you. Meg, who's our social impact coordinator, which is basically a role that does a lot of causes in ESN. I don't know how much you know about the causes yet, but for those of you that do, she's kind of mostly responsible for a lot of them. And then Wojtek, who's Employability Foundation. We also have an audit board, so as a charity, all of our voting and stuff is done correctly. Our National Assembly, she helps with the statutes and all of our internal documents. And Matthew, who does all of the financial audits, making sure that Annie can't actually pay himself without us knowing about it. So that's our whole board. We do quite a lot together. So yeah. In terms of our sections, we have 21 altogether. They're fairly spread out throughout all of the UK. 6 in Scotland, between the main big cities. 1 in Wales on a very remote side, right on the coast, and 14 in England. Quite a lot in London, actually. But they're very spread out throughout the UK, so we're doing pretty well. And hoping to get more in Wales because, as you can tell, that's a very low number. A lot of people ask about if we have any sections in Ireland or Northern Ireland. So just on that, a lot of you are probably aware that Brexit meant that we're no longer part of the Erasmus Plus programme. Northern Ireland actually still is part of Erasmus Plus because Ireland, the country, is funding them to send people out through Erasmus Plus. So we're kind of, us in the UK and our friends in Ireland are drafting some kind of compromise of how to kind of support them together right now. But it's all a bit up in the air, but that's why we only have 3 of the 4 missions. And when we came into our mandates this summer, we decided that we really wanted to create some kind of mission that tied everything that we did together in a really nice way. This was actually something that we found when a lot of us were on holiday together on an island up in Scotland, ironically the Isle of Iona. But we came across this somewhere and really liked it. We thought it was similar to how ESN does things, and we basically just stuck the date that ESN UK was created to the end. But promoting international sharing through the exchange of experiences and people since 1989. We really like it because it's experiences and people. Like, it's not just sending people on exchange, it's also how they interact with each other. So yeah, as I mentioned, we do a lot of mobility, yes, even myself. So I don't know if you want to take this one as the official mobility officer of the UK.
So, mobility-wise, the UK is very complicated. As you may or may not know, we left Erasmus Plus around 6 or so, almost a year ago now. Almost a year ago. This does not mean that we no longer have any access left. We have access from the previous cycle, and some universities are funding to send students away. But the new program UK-wide that we have is called the Turing Scheme. The main kind of focus of the Turing Scheme is that, what you need to know is that it's a 3-year program now until 2023. 2 years, 3. Now 3 years ago this year. Yeah, it's unilateral, so this one is more funding students who go abroad. So maybe less relevant to students who want to come to the UK. But the programs that are relevant to those who want to come to the UK are the Welsh program, this is going to be multilateral, so there will be what is bilateral, so there will be opportunities for students to come to Wales, study in Wales, and still access to funding. And this is a program that is quite advanced in terms of the stage it's at, and it should be rolled out next year. The Scottish Mobility Programme itself is also going to be, again, similar to Erasmus Plus, but Scottish version in a way. But this is in a very early stage, and I'm not sure when it will be rolled out. So with all these programs, we've done some really cool stuff. So myself and Iona, and I'm going to be a little bit blunt about this, is we came in with a no-fear attitude, and we went straight for the big dogs. Went straight on LinkedIn, chased down the director of UKI, which is the big stakeholder in the UK for international education and universities. I met her at an award ceremony, kind of sweet talked her for 5-10 minutes, got her to give us a 30-minute slot, spoke straight to the director, great stuff, she loves us. I'm just kind of scared of her, honestly. I've never met a woman so bloody intelligent and so capable. Normally, I talk a lot, but she shut me up, and I loved it. I was a bit scared. But it was great. It was honestly great. I'm hoping you guys are engaging in the background if you can't see. Yeah. But that was awesome. On that note as well, we've been able to reach out to the government, so Ireland's had some really good contact, especially on the Welsh and the Scottish side. We've managed to get in touch with people who are actually shaping the programs and the future of them, and show that we are the stakeholder they need to speak to from the student side. So we are the voice they need to speak to. We have access to the students who are most relevant, and we can help shape this program from a student perspective. And we really managed to create a certain dynamic where they see us as the responsible kind of student voice who can really help. So on our side, it's given us so much work that we wish we were full time, but it's given us an incredible opportunity where in the early stages of the new program, we can really build ourselves as an organisation and a reputation of this in the UK, and it shows that anyone can do it. I mean, you're taking this opportunity, but there's always an opportunity, and you can create these opportunities if you have the confidence to go and go and show what ESN can deliver beyond just organising lots of events and helping our students. We can do so much more, and we can make a difference to mobility full stop. I really believe this. So I hope it's spoken on this slide, but it's super important, so I wanted to share.
As I mentioned, our National Assembly is actually this weekend. Usually this is the point where we invite you to come, but A, registration is closed, and B, it's actually happening in the next few hours, and you guys are already pretty busy. So I'm not going to encourage you to watch the live stream. You should probably watch what's happening in the room right now. But yeah, we're having our National Assembly in London. It's our first physical event again since before COVID started, which has been a long time, so we're all very excited to be together. It's also the first time that all of us on the board have been in the same place. None of us have actually all met at the same time yet. We've had a lot of group gatherings, but never all of us, so it's also very exciting.
Sometimes for 3 weeks in a caravan in Western Wales.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Stuff happens. We get sidetracked.
We're a weird group. There's a lot of love in our team, which is nice.
Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of everything that we want to share with you about the UK. Because we do have a lot of interesting projects going still, but I won't bore you with them too much. I'm sure you've already got enough information going if you're going to National Assembly. So ESN Global, as I mentioned, both of us are somewhat involved in the international side. Yes, more so than me in terms of outside of Europe. But this is a project that's starting to happen a little bit in ESN International, where we're thinking about how we expand outside of Europe. And we thought this was a really good way to make you guys aware that it's a thing, because we've realised we've been going to a lot of events, we've been talking to a lot of people, and realising that a lot of volunteers aren't really aware that it's happening. And we'd really like you to think about how it would work if people from outside of Europe started coming to our events as well, how that would work, how we would interact with them, and just how the country would feel being a part of the network.
Cool. So I will briefly talk about the liaison officers that really are responsible for the non-European kind of portfolio. So, as you can see, look, that's me on the left. I'm Yass. I'm not on the right. I don't know how else we raise and stuff, but for me, I'm on the left. As you can see, if you guys can read and see like all the geography, that little kind of big island there is called Africa. There's the Middle East next to it. So I am the liaison officer for the Middle East and Africa. My responsibility is to essentially support internationalization strategies in higher education institutions, support like international relation officers trying to promote this kind of stuff, support local organizations that can potentially become ESN, even national organizations, support like the national Erasmus Plus offices across the region. Erasmus Plus is not just European, there is a big portfolio called the International Credibility ICM, where a lot of funding goes to places like Africa and beyond. So Erasmus is actually a global program, but the majority of the funding is in Europe. And you can imagine, because of the geographical proximity of Africa and the Middle East, it is a strategic priority not just for ESN, but even the European Commission or anyone involved in Erasmus Plus. So for us, it makes sense that if we have a lot of Erasmus Plus mobilities and mobilities in general across the region, from the South Med to the North Med, as well as the rest of Europe, this is a priority area. So I support in this way, not so much onboarding organizations to join the ESN. We're not going to have 10 countries in the next 2 years, but maybe one every now and then progressively as we grow, as well as starting up at least activities in different countries and different universities that have the same mindset as ESN, so that people are more aware of the opportunities that they can go for, both in their countries, as well as people like yourselves who might have an interest in going somewhere tropical like North Africa. Maybe you get your exchange opportunity in Spain or Italy, which is always very popular. North Africa is not a bad bet, very similar in terms of the cultures. So, for example, one of the opportunities there and promoting this and having more local organizations to support students would be amazing. For exactly the same, America, much more difficult portfolio in terms of the development of mobility, and also the political dimensions to America, especially South America, which is more focused. And the US has a very developed system of mobility, but it's very different how we do things. So less of a focus, but still a big portfolio. Then we have Olivia. Olivia, as you can see, Asia. I hope you guys can read see the map. Just making sure. She has done much really cool work. in the oceans, networks, etc. And ASEAN as well. She's organised capacity building events in Asia. We're trying to, with COVID it's very difficult. She has a dream to make sure there is one in Singapore in the next year or so post-COVID. We've done one as well in the past in Singapore, I believe. We had one before as well in 2019, 2018 time. But we have strategic kind of connections in this region. We have an alignment of understanding of different organisations. So for me, in Africa and the Middle East, I have UNIMED, which is like the Universities for Mediterranean Students Union, as well as like UFM, which is the Union for Mediterranean. So we have a lot of partnerships and agreements with different institutions, different stakeholders. But this is more on an advocacy side, which is more relationship building and working with stakeholders, less so us trying to have a section in every country tomorrow. This is something to be very careful of. But it's a progressive thing that will happen in the future, probably post-COVID, as things start to calm down and as we recover as a network.
Yeah. However, in saying that, there are some countries that are outside of Europe that are already in our network, and they're very close to Europe. They're like on the border. Some are in the grey area between Asia and Europe, but there are quite a lot that's happening. You can see me in the middle row. So we have a nice membership team, and this is the team that's the HR level. So we have the liaison officers that do the advocacy and the membership team that do the HR for when countries are being brought into the network and they need support, they don't know how to do things, they're confused about how things work because it's a very different organisation to how some others structure it. So I've got a list of countries where we actually are doing some work with. So we have our General Assembly for ESN International, where every country in the network sends a representative and we vote on things. Ukraine and Armenia have 2 sections that are applying to become full sections into our network, which is very exciting. We've also got Bosnia and Herzegovina, and they're building a national board. They've already got 2 sections, so through ESN international law, per se, we can now build a national level as well and become a full part of the network. Georgia, we have a section in Georgia, we have a section in Azerbaijan as well, and North Macedonia is currently applying to be part of the network too. So there is stuff happening, it's slow, but when we are a very European central organisation, it is going to be a slow shift, and it just is very exciting that this is even happening in the first place, and it shows a lot of hope for the future. But yeah. That's kind of everything we have to share with you. I've still not changed the email address.
There's a slight mistake there. I did not get emotion. She's not now 1. Nothing's changed. 1 is still valid.
Please don't send this email address. If you have any questions, my email is president@usnuk.org. This is a mistake that I've made in the past. It keeps happening. I need to stop.
I think she wants to be president, guys.
Yeah, but if you have questions, please, I'm sure there's maybe a little bit of time here, but if you feel embarrassed to speak out or you're not entirely sure, you can find us both on Facebook as well. But yeah, that's our contact. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. Hope it was insightful. Oh no, I'm sorry. We can send you a support if you need it.
Ale nevím, co říkat.
Funguje? Funguje mikrofon, nefunguje mikrofon. Jo. Skutečně funguje mikrofon.
Svítí?
Svítí.
Okay guys, any questions?
Technical problems?
Jo, já jsem posplnul tady, no. To teď?
Can you unmute?
No, ale říkej nejdřív do toho, jestli to funguje.
Jo, funguje to. Okay. Hi guys, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we have another presenter online in minutes, we will try to keep the question round very short. So are there any questions? Yeah, Adele?
Adele, yes, and Suzette. My friends, thank you very much for joining us and for a wonderful presentation. It's very nice to see you, and especially when you are starting your NA in a few hours. I just want to say a huge thank you for taking time for us as well and for presenting something for our members. We actually have one member going to your NA from Budweis, 2 members. Okay, so we have, you'll have 2 check-in posters at the National Assembly. Hopefully they will not embarrass, no. Okay, so Mama, thank you very much, and I hope to see you very soon.
Yes.
So are there any questions? If there are no more questions, I propose to close the speakers list so we can move on with the agenda. I see no hands, so I hereby close the speakers list. Thank you guys for joining us today. It was very nice, and hopefully see you sometime live when you come to the Czech Republic, of course.
I've already told them to the next day for useful.
Okay, můžeme to... Zrinka is here already. Zrinka, can you try to say something?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you, it's very nice. Can you hear us? That's the question.
Yes.
And is it good sound or is it terrible?
It's very good, my friend.
Oh. Very sorry. Okay, so because the acoustics in our room is really bad, I would like to ask you to speak really pronounce as much as you can, basically, and yes.
Trust me, no problem.
Yeah, speak as slow as it's possible. I don't know. Yeah, thank you very much. And without further ado from my side, can we put there the presentation?
Which presentation?
I guess goodbye everyone. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you very much for coming. Bye bye, and we will
come to our NA next time.
We will
come.
Someone will come, I promise. Thank you
I
very
will
much.
speak with people, and I will come to you as well. No problem. See you guys. Have a nice evening. Really enjoy it. Make some friends. Go live your lunch. Don't dance to me.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Enjoy it.
Do you need me to share the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Can you let me know that you see presentation?
We see the presentation actually. Yes.
Okay, perfect. I know that you're a little bit late, so I will try to keep it short and sweet. Hi everyone, I'm Trinka, I'm a project manager of PSN International. I have been working in the PSN office for the past 3 years. I am also a member of PSN for the past 7 years, and this is one of my biggest and newest projects that I've been working on. So how the whole thing actually started, basically, in 2019, with the former Vice President of PSN International, Diana, we started thinking about how our volunteers actually go through a very complex but very deep development path in their competence development journey. However, we never had any tool or mechanism that actually helped us to both identify and document this. But also, our volunteers are not necessarily always aware of how much they actually learn and grow in ESM. So in 2019, we started with a very extensive desk research where we looked at policy frameworks, tools, and the projects that have already been developed, in use, and so on. And then when it comes to all levels, so international, national, and local. And then we moved actually to look internal in ESM. What we did is basically the HR mapping, where we took all of the positions in ESM and all of the tasks that actually come with the positions, in order to understand better actually how the work of ESM looks like. Based on the HR map, we developed a competence inventory, which at the moment has 85 competences that a regular ESM volunteer develops throughout more or less 1 year of their engagement. All of the competences are are broken down to skills, knowledge, and attitude, and all of them also have 4 levels, depending if you're, for example, an active member, a local member, national, on the national level, or international level. Based on the competences, we try to cluster them according to the fields of work of ESN, and this is where the competence frameworks actually came in. And then when we had this foundation to work with, we started to actually look into the validation project itself, which I will explain a bit more in detail later on. What we decided to do is actually take the phases of validation that are already easily recognized, but they're also implemented mostly on the international level to make in the future our work easier to present to the people who are outside the ESN bubble, and generally when it comes to actors that actually are working in the field of validation. So everyone from the institutions, higher education institutions, youth organizations, and so on. In summer 2019, we had focus groups where we had national organizations and local sections basically reflecting on their development path. We asked them what were the competences that they had at the beginning of their mandate and what were the competences at the end of their mandate. So we wanted to see how this changed throughout their mandate and basically where did they stand at the beginning and where did they stand at the end. And this helped us actually to polish the process itself a little bit more. When we had everything finalized, we actually had pilot testing with the volunteers that were on the international level in 2020. So we had first volunteers actually going through the process, and basically we took time to take their feedback into account and their recommendations in order to fully finalize the service before launching it to the network. There have been many meetings, many trainings where we brought this topic. So from the international training events and international events in general to the local and national, we really tried to cater to the interest that either the national organizations or sections actually showed in this topic. Overall, our biggest question was how we can actually make all of this applicable for the network that has 15,000 volunteers across 42 countries and 500 sections. Basically, we started looking into how our volunteers learn. So we have tasks that they pick up on daily, weekly, monthly basis. They learn through their own experience or experience of others, and I can also here say their own mistakes and the mistakes of the others. And most of the time, these volunteers actually learn by doing. So they pick up a task, they get selected on a position, and they learn on the way. However, there are training opportunities and there are guided learning processes that are actually intentionally designed by facilitators, trainers, or some other people that have maybe a bit more strategic input on this. And something that's a part of a bit more structured learning process is actually the reflection and feedback. So both the self-reflection but also feedback from the people that they work with in different capacities. So when we mixed all of this together, basically we came out with the Management Career, which is a service that helps ESN volunteers to assess and validate their competences. But as I said at the beginning, to actually better understand their own development and how this development, the learning outcomes and their competences can actually help them when it comes to different opportunities, whether it's in ESN or outside of it. So my ESN Career has a few pillars that are basically the main focuses of the service or the main elements of the service. The ESN volunteers have an opportunity to actually self-assess their competences, the ones they would like to develop more, the ones that they want to focus on throughout their mandate or throughout some period of time. We want volunteers to actually actively seek training opportunities, whether it's in ESN or outside ESN, but also to have that moment of both self-reflection, reflection with a mentor that's going to be assigned to them from the MySN Career team, and to actually get feedback from their peers in order to, in the end, have a balance between a very subjective self-reflection and an objective feedback from someone we work with. The end goal is actually to issue a certificate to volunteer based on their competences, based on the training they took, and based on the overall learning outcomes that they have. A certificate is issued by ESN International, both in a regular way, so the usual certificate that we use, but also if our volunteers want that, they can also acquire digital credentials for learning, which is a very new hot topic. Basically, it's a digital certificate that goes directly into users' Europass wallet, which means that if you have a new Europass profile, and if you actually decide to go through the validation activity and pick up MySim Career Service as something that you would like to focus on, you can actually get a certificate that is issued by ESN International that will directly appear in your Europass. In order to help our volunteers not only identify and document all of these things, we wanted to go a step further and actually help our volunteers to pursue new opportunities and to prepare to actually either to go for a job interview or an interview for a traineeship internship, prepare a CV, and so on. And for that reason, we are actually offering a few more activities that are not necessarily connected just to validation. This is my ESN career pool. These are the people that actually help us a lot. If you decide to sign up for the service, you will get one of these people assigned to you, and they will be your mentors. They will guide you through the whole process. They will give you all the documentation that you need and basically explain every step of the way. As I said, validation is something that is basically the core of the service itself. We took the phases that are already very much implemented and recognizable on the international level, which makes our work in the long run a little bit easier. So we start with the identification of the knowledge, skills, and competences that are acquired from the volunteer, whether it's a self-assessment or an interview or simply a conversation with a mentor from the pool. The next step is actually document everything. So building a CV, building a portfolio, focusing and identifying the learning outcomes so far and throughout the whole process. And then one of the last things is actually assessing the competences. And here we actually have a self-assessment survey at the end of the validation activities, but also there is an opportunity to participate in a job interview simulation or teach yourself sessions where basically we want our volunteers to practice verbalizing and explaining both their competence development but also their experience in ESN in general in order to make it or to translate it into something that's very interesting to the labor market and recruiters in general. And of course, the cherry on top is actually the certificate that is issued by ESN International. As I said, a certificate as we know it, but also as a digital credential for learning. This is how the journey actually looks like. So it starts with an application for MySim Career Service. We help volunteer identify different training opportunities that are there. We help volunteers get feedback from their peers as well as identify the tasks that would actually be the most important or the most beneficial one when it comes to the competences that they have chosen to work on. Towards the end of the process, there's a check-in with a mentor, basically to just see if all the documentation is ready, if there are still some questions left, and basically just to kind of bring the whole process to an end. And the last step before getting the certificate is actually the self-assessment survey, where we simply ask the volunteer to pick the statements that actually apply to them without explaining as much when it comes to the levels or anything else. And actually this helps us with identifying the learning opportunities. I mentioned activities that are not necessarily connected just to the validation activity. So throughout the whole year, you can actually apply for CV evaluation, whether you're writing it for a job, for any internship, traineeship, even for an ESN position, if you want to maybe apply for a national board or on the international level. I heard Adele told you about the committee's recruiting. So basically, if you need any help with your CV, this is something you can ask from us. And then we will also announce when during the semesters and academic year, we will have a period when you can sign up for an interview simulation, meaning that we will put you together in a group with different volunteers that would like to actually practice how they would present themselves and their ESN experience in a job interview or a traineeship interview or anything else. Application process is very, very simple. You just send an email to mycenter@esn.org telling us basically which activity are you interested in. Validation activity takes from minimum 6 months to 1 year. However, this is more on the volunteer to actually see if 1 year would actually be enough, but minimum is 6 months. And as I said, for other activities such as the interview simulations and feature self-sessions, this is something that will be announced earlier and kind of have an open sign-ups and registrations. But the CV evaluation is actually open throughout the whole year, so you can also apply at any point. In order to actually support and explain all of this a little bit more into details, what you can find on Wiki is MySN Career Service page, which contains also validation toolkit, where you can find everything way more in detail about the service, about the activities, about the whole backstory of the service, why did it happen, how did we come to choosing or having these kind of activities, and basically what are the benefits for the volunteers and for the organizations. At the moment, NEC is also finalizing depth of competences, which will be basically a very nice tool that will bring the whole idea of competence development to the volunteers, actions, and national organization in a form of a game, basically, but I won't spoil much at the moment. So if you have any questions or you would like to apply for any of the activities, you can simply write an email to myscareer@esn.org and we will follow up with it. That's it from me.
Thank you very much, students throughout. Is this better? Well, yeah. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It's always more connections, more problems, more microphones. It's too complicated for my small brain. Actually, I would like to open the speakers list right now. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Maria?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So my question is if there is a specific time that someone has to be in ESN in order to be able to apply for this, or if it's just literally anyone can do it.
So we don't have. Sorry, I can hear myself through the echo, so it's a little bit confusing. So any volunteer can sign up as long as they had onboarding if they're a new member. So they need to have this first knowledge transfer and be onboarded in a section if they want to apply. So basically, starting from status of having status as an active volunteer, anyone can apply. It doesn't matter about the experience, the positions, how long they have been in ESN, and so on. It's literally for everyone. The only requirement is actually to have at least status of the active member and to be onboarded in the section.
Okay, do we have any more questions? Please take the word.
Hello, Martin, Ostrava. I would have a question for you, Zrinka. Do you have any feedback from the people who have been already issued the certificate of skills that it somehow helped them in, like it helped them to get a job or make some really good impression or something like that? Thank you.
So we had the first certificates that were issued, at least the digital credential ones, were for the starter 2021. I'm still to hear actually if people used it or not. And when it comes to the validation activity, we are still waiting to actually hear from the people that went through the process. However, this is why we have the interview simulation where we use the real examples and the content of how the certificates actually look like, in order to also, if people will not necessarily give us feedback or get back to us on whether they help them or not, to simply help them already prepare on how to use it to maximize. I mean, we will have digital credentials issued now for international training events very soon to more volunteers that actually attended them. But for now, we didn't have anyone concrete telling us they got a job thanks to the certificate. But we did have people that were actually preparing for a job, and we did have a session or a moment to help them practice how they will use it.
Thank you for the reply. Does anyone else want to ask something? Adele, please.
Hello, my friend. Adele, well, I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you very much for doing this presentation for us. We really appreciate it, and also congratulations for this project, because we know it's been a lot of work, and you have done an amazing job. So fingers crossed that it helps as many SNs as possible. And once again, thank you very much for introducing it to Czech SNS. We really appreciate it. And by the way, we are in the middle of nowhere, in the mountains and woods and stuff. So sorry for the technical difficulties.
No problem at all. Thank you very much. And if someone can actually do me a little favor for Teresa and Adele, please give them a hug, chocolate, beer, anything for the absolutely amazing work they have been doing for TEP for the past 3 years. I'm not there to hug them or to tweet them, so please someone do it for me. So I will just take a moment to also appreciate all of your work.
Okay, that can be definitely arranged. If there are no more questions, do I see any hands? I don't see any hands, so I propose to close the speakers list. If there are no objections. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was lovely having you here. And in the name of the whole Czech network, I thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts, and have a beautiful rest of the day.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a great event, and see you very soon.
Hi. Bye.
Hi. What time is it? How is it with the... Jsme na tom z Amnesty. Okay, the next presenter is from Amnesty International. So it's Miriam, and of course again she's going to be online, so we'll have to wait for the connection to establish. So I once again ask you for your patience. It's more sexy than this? Yes. Okay. Imagine somebody makes it. You'll be like one of your friends for Is it? Hello, Miriam.
Já jsem tady teď to vykopnul úplně celý někde. Teď jsme přišli o zvuk.
A ty jsi o všechno úplně. Nevykop někdo zásob?
No, tamhle někde. Tamhle to vykopne podle mě. Tak. Tak dopadnou někde jistější.
Housí. Pojistky!
A už se to nabíhá, ale teda to potrvá, než se to všechno pustí.
Větina běží?
Větina běží.
Tak tam napíši, prosím tě, že na vypadé pojistky, že to drží. Palkovice půl
will start to do that. Can you see it? Okay, that's great. That's great. So, great. So, once again, thank you so much. And for those who don't know who we are or what we are doing here and why we are here at National Platform or National Assembly, as I know, Amnesty International is a global movement of more than 10 millions of people who take injustice personally. So main core is we are just campaigning for a world where human rights are enjoyed by all. We are operating in more than 150 countries, probably you know that, and we try to draw attentions to the cases of and change the situation since 1961, so it's pretty old institution. As it was mentioned, to support people in exercising their rights through human rights education, especially at schools where the government policies do not add much weight on current situation violation freedoms. You might question how we do it or how we are trying to help them. So one of the main tools is our main campaign, our pilot campaign, not just in Czech Republic, but also worldwide. It's a right for rights. For you, some of the guys already know that. Right for Rights is the world's biggest human rights event where millions of people around the world are coming together and protecting rights of others. It began just here across the border in Poland, where they were campaigning for 24 hours. So all day, all night, they were just writing the letters for all the journalists or activists or lawyers that were persecuted or just imprisoned unjustly. The marathon has been held also in Czech Republic since 2010. So this year we will do it for the 11th time, and together with our anniversary of Amnesty International Czech Republic, we will gonna do a very great gathering in the 10th of December, where we celebrate International Human Rights Day. So I will go a bit further, but I wanted to let you know that Amnesty is not just in Prague. We are in Brno, Tábor, Olomouc, Ostrava, Budějovice, but we also have English-speaking groups. So for I will just try to describe you the process, how we are reaching all those people and engaging the society, because that's our main purpose of the campaign. We try to create international pressure on the bad guys, all the bad guys and the states that grossly violate the human rights. So surprisingly, it might be a joke, but it's not a joke. We are doing it through handwritten letters. We will fill off the office of powerful millions of letters. Yes, the letter has still value even in 21st century. So when the Amnesty identifies people and communities at risk, we pick the cases and trying to enforce all the possible human rights, human sources to create a pressure. And then it goes worldwide. Activists all around the world are organizing events and actions around the cases. So people write a letter, tweets, emails, sign the petition, as you might know right now. Simply, you can write a letter and send it. But of course, right now we experienced even during the organizing events during the pandemic, so we can do it online and offline. So through these events, you can involve families and friends and classmates and students. You can see the opportunity to talk about values and human rights at schools or wherever, because yeah, 21st century might
Please
show
wait,
us that we
please wait
have
for
guaranteed
one-
all our freedoms, but in few parts of the world it's not like that anymore. So what we are doing each year, every year we are trying to appoint systematic problems of different countries, and we give them attentions to different topics. So for example, this year we represent human rights issues in China for the journalist, in Egypt, human rights defender. Then just here across the border, we are defending a organization called Sfera that representing human rights in the field of women and LGBT group, environmental activist from Guatemala, 15 years old girl from Eritrea that is held in prison for 8 years, but nobody knows if she's alive or not. And in Belarus, 17 years old boy who is, let's say, in re-education camp because he was caught by police in demonstration that he was not even there. So every year we are trying to point those problems. And people always ask me if really the letters can change anything. Well, yes, because in 2020, out of 6 cases, we tried 4 people, or let's say 3 people and one group of 18 students from Turkey. So yes, the letters can change a lot, and especially their lives. So, and maybe the last part you were asking, since I came here, what and why do we want this collaboration with you? Personally, I think Erasmus Student Network is a driving force of young generation. Erasmus generation is full of young and talented and well-educated people. As it says, and you and actually adults told me, ESN is fostering intercultural understanding and creating positive change in society. With all the different features of the background, you create a diversity, unity, international dimension of a lifestyle, openness with a tolerance and cooperation. This all, I think, creates driving force with the power to help us to change the lives of people in need by writing letters, because your words really do help. Even though last year it was not as simple as is probably this year. We also had some problems, but also people like in prisons. And even though we collected 5 millions of letters, that led to releases of 3 people and 1 group of students from just Turkey. So let's see what we can do this year. And why do we want you to be part of Amnesty, or why we want to be a part of ESN? Is very simple. We offer a few things. Wherever you are from, or Brno, or Plzeň, or even from the most, we can provide you educational workshops and webinars in the human rights field. We are providing you exhibitions. It doesn't matter, it can be also at your school, at a university, wherever. We can provide you all this exhibition on human rights, which are just the desks. We would like to promote you as a partner. We would like to help you with all the events you are organizing in the field of human rights. For all of this, we will help you with all the materials that you will need for all the events that you will organize. If it's printed materials or the materials like such as posters or many other stuff needed for events, and all of that has other coin. And on the other hand, we would like you to promote this this action, this right for rights event on your communication channels, but not just like those let's say I would not really negative, but your participation with broadcasting to your friends, to your families, to students, to Erasmus students. And secondly, for us is very important that you can help us by organizing your own letter event and register it. Why do we want that? Or uh, what is very important for us? Because every letter that is written in Czech Republic and every person who's gonna take action here probably might change lives as last year as we saw. So all these events perfectly could be organized till the end of the year, but the best would be on the 10th of December, which is the International Human Rights Day. During this event, you can point out not just the problems and the issues of society, but you can connect it with your projects like social inclusion days or Move in Europe or any workshop. So here is the requirement for registration.
Sorry, Miriam, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, the stream went down for I guess a minute again. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Could you? Sorry, the Wi-Fi here is kind of terrible. So if you could begin in the. You were talking about the 10th of November, the last time. December.
December, yeah, this one
Prosinec.
here. And can you still see it? Or not anymore? Okay, great. So, yeah, let's go back to the 10th of September. December. So that then you might remember this day. In this special day, we are organizing all our events in the world, and we try to support our cases and our people in those 6 different countries. What would be perfect for us to know that you gonna participate in this event is registration. The registration might take place on this link, martin.amnesty.cz, where you can find all the materials, all the case cards, posters, and letters, because some of the people don't know how to write the letters, and we providing you kind of sample letters in 4 different languages. So you can use it for a Spanish group, a French group, English speaking, or Czech speaking groups. And why do I'm kind of not really forcing you, but pleasing you is that we would like to know how many people and how many letters going to be written, and people that are taking actions in Czech Republic to change different lives, different people's situations, like we did in the 80s when Czechoslovak dissidents, so-called Václav Havel, our president, was in a prison. So actually in this situation, Amnesty International help him to be freed. Even though you are not really familiar what the campaign or what the event is about or how it looks like, and you have never heard about it before, I would like to invite you on this online webinar that's going to be held next Thursday, 11th of November, in the evening on Zoom. You can join us nicely from your couch, from your home, or just a cozy place where we can provide you trick and tips, all the materials, or even sharing our experiences. This QR code provides you the registration formula, but I think that Adel, your president, will provide you all the information needed. And I think I'm in the end of my presentation. So please, if you have any other question, and if the connection of the Wi-Fi fell in the middle of my sentence, do not hesitate and ask me again. So I hope it was enjoyable, at least a bit.
Yes. Actually, it did not disconnect from the last time, so we heard everything. So thank you very much for your presentation. And now, if there are any questions from the plenaries, I open the speakers list. Yes, I see Pavel. Pavel, come get the microphone.
Does work. Great. I'm just wondering if there's like any limit for the letters, because if we want to organize such event, it might not be that much successful.
Sorry, I didn't really hear.
I'm just wondering if there's any limit for the letters, because if we organize the event, it does not have to be successful.
Yeah, actually, all the letters that you can send from your section are all welcome, and it might reach the destination. If you are not, if you're afraid that the letters, such an amount of letters won't take the destination, you can send it to our office, to Prague, and we can send it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any more questions? Adele, please.
Adele, ESNCZ. Miriam, I just want to say thank you very much. We are very excited about this new cooperation, and we also really appreciate your time that you actually spent here with us on Friday afternoon. So thank you for presenting it. I will make sure to share all the information with our sections, and will be hopefully our events will be successful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me again. And I hope you're going to enjoy this weekend, because it's really great to be again together. So enjoy.
So I guess there are no more questions. I don't see any hands, so I close the speakers list. Thank you very much for your nice presentation. Please forgive us the technical difficulties. We tried our best. Philip worked like a bee to make this stream successful. Hopefully it will next time be better, or maybe next time we can see you in person. That would be the best option, I guess. Because we are running out of time. Thank you again very much. Bye bye. Thank you from the whole plenaries. Thank you for your presentation. And
thank you so much.
So hopefully we'll see you again. And
yes, hopefully. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye. And now it's time for a coffee break, right? Finally. The coffee break should be 20 minutes, so we should be back in 16:50. That's 20 minutes, and after that there will be meet your colleagues meetings.